Pakistan was continuing to support such an entity for the last 30 years, including after the war on terror was launched.
This is not a type of talaq that even the Muslim community accepts.
Have you criminalized other type of talaqs in the other communities in India?
What is the other type of talaq which is equitable to instant triple talaq?
Pakistan, people are now realizing, and they created the Mujahideen, they are the ones who created the terrorists, and they've always walked the wrong line.
I've covered the Bihar politics, and only recently in both the by-elections it's the BJP that won. So ये जो गणित की बात करते हैं आप लोग, वो गणित कहाँ से अब applicable है?
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching The Nation at 5. I'm Anusha Soni. Our top focus this hour is this big story emerging from the state of Uttar Pradesh. While the investigation into the murder of Umesh Pal gains momentum, but there's a different sort of justice which is being meted out in the state of Uttar Pradesh, which is creating political ripples and a controversy. Our top focus.
हम पकड़ नहीं पा रहे और बस बुलडोजर का चलेगा, बस सताए जाएंगे लोग, निर्दोष लोग सताए जाएंगे.
And as the investigation into the murder case of Umesh Pal gains momentum in Uttar Pradesh, a crackdown on the mafia Raj has already begun. You have Don Atiq Ahmed's ancestral home that has been demolished by bulldozers. Action is also being taken against Ahmed Aid. Bulldozers razed down Ahmed's Aid's residence as well. A rifle was found at Atiq Ahmed's Aid's residence. Meanwhile, the BJP MP Subrat Pathak has said that if Vikas Dubey could not be saved in the past, it would not come as a surprise if Atiq Ahmed car also overturns in the near future. Atiq Ahmed matter has also reached the Supreme Court. The plea seeks to stop the transfer of Atiq Ahmed from Ahmedabad to the Prayagraj jail. Reactions on the story, of course, this has become a political flashpoint.
कल मैं देख रहा था, पूरे टेलीविजन रंगे हुए थे प्रयागराज की घटना को लेकर के. पूरी घटना का जो साजिश करता है उसकी फोटो वायरल हो रही थी और कोई उससे भाग नहीं सकता. लोग कहें कि साहब सोशल मीडिया का जमाना है, लोग कुछ कर लेंगे. अरे हाथ मिला रहे हैं, पीछे आपकी पार्टी का सिंबल लगा हुआ है और तब भी आप उससे मुंह मोड़ने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं. जो उमेश पाल मारा गया, क्या उसकी कोई जाति नहीं थी क्या? संदीप निषाद जो हमारा कांस्टेबल मारा गया, क्या उसकी कोई जाति नहीं थी क्या? राज्यपाल की यही वो थी ना कि वह अपने दम पर विधायक बन गया था.
अपराधी कोई भी हो, राजनीति अगर किसी को करना है तो अपराधियों को साथ नहीं देना चाहिए, लेकिन अपराधियों का साथ दिए बगैर समाजवादी पार्टी का जीवन ही अधूरा हो जाता है. और समाजवादी पार्टी का इतिहास अपराधियों का साथ और परिवार का विकास का है. इसलिए जो अपराधियों के खिलाफ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए वह कार्रवाई की जा रही है और पुलिस और प्रशासन के इस कदम का सभी को स्वागत करना चाहिए. अपराधियों का मनोबल बढ़ाने वाला कोई काम नहीं करना चाहिए.
Well, cutting across to our UP Bureau Chief Pranshu Mishra, who's joining us on the broadcast. Pranshu, bulldozer justice, as it is known in the state of Uttar Pradesh, not without its share of controversy. The opposition calls it an overreach, extrajudicial and illegal. What is the state government's view on this?
Yes, that's right. So in fact, the bulldozer policy always had been under question mark. But the government says that, there is a clear endorsement which comes in from the People's Court. The fact that bulldozer policy is not new. It is not for the first time that we are seeing bulldozers being rolled out in case of Prayagraj. Remember 2019 NTCA protest. Bulldozers were brought out against many accused in this case. Remember the case of Kanpur Royals, bulldozers were used. Remember the case of Mukhtar Ansari, bulldozers were used. So bulldozers have been in constant use by the Yogi government in Yogi point one government and again in his second tenure. The government says that this bulldozer policy has come as a deterrent, a fear mechanism for the big mafia, and to an extent mafia has been restrained by using bulldozer by ensuring that their financial assets, accounts and other properties are freezed. So in that sense government has its own argument. The other point is that government says that in all the cases where demolition has taken place, it has been done as per the law. So even as the the latest case, the today's instance is concerned, the residence that is being demolished, the house building that is being demolished, legal notices were sent to it. It was already declared an illegal structure. The only matter is that it's the matter of timing, the choice of the timing, and the timing is now. And this property, of course, belongs to one of the associates of Atiq Ahmed gang, and therefore it is being seen as a direct action against the clout or the might of Atiq Ahmed's gang and the fallout of Umesh Pal murder case.
Impassioned political discourse that we have seen around this entire issue, Pranshu. You also had a UP Chief Minister saying कि हम मिट्टी में मिला देंगे, we'll make sure that none of these mafias are spared. There's a direct attack coming in from Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav as well. Talk to us through the political discourse around this entire issue. Interestingly, the matter now also at the Supreme Court, where Atiq Ahmed doesn't want his jail to be shifted from Ahmedabad to Prayagraj, and that was not the case earlier. Earlier, he was resisting when he was shifted from one jail to another.
Well, see, this is the irony. Gujarat is also a BJP ruled state. Yeah. Uttar Pradesh is also a BJP ruled state. But for Atiq Ahmed, both places are of an anti-government of a party which is not conducive or is not on a good page with Atiq Ahmed. But even then, Atiq Ahmed probably feels more safe in Gujarat, because here in Uttar Pradesh, it's the Yogi Sashan, which is known for being very stern, very strict when it comes to dealing with the mafia. Now, BJP's argument is very clear. See, BJP has been emphasizing this point, Yogi Adityanath himself, that who has created likes of Atiq Ahmed or Mukhtar Ansari. Very interesting point which we should remember is that in 2005 it was Raju Pal, the BSP MLA, who was murdered, and the direct charges were against Atiq Ahmed and others who are associated with the Samajwadi Party. Same year, BJP MLA Krishnan Rai was also murdered in eastern Uttar Pradesh, and again the charges were against the other big don, Mukhtar Ansari, and Mukhtar Ansari is also an accused in the Krishnan Rai murder case. At that point in time, it was Mulayam Singh-led Samajwadi Party government which was in power. So BJP clearly, go back to a history, a long history, to prove out that whenever the Samajwadi Party governments have been in power, mafia has called the shots. And 2005, as I said, two sensational murders of two MLAs have taken place, in which one in Atiq was involved and the other Mukhtar Ansari was named, and that was in the Samajwadi Party's regime. So clearly, when it comes to talking about law and order, Samajwadi Party clearly falls on a weaker wicket, and that is what BJP clearly knows, and therefore their line of assault clearly has been to try and taint Samajwadi Party as someone who has always stood by the big mafia likes of Atiq or Mukhtar Ansari in politics of Uttar Pradesh.
Pranshu Mishra setting the tone and tenor as to how the entire political discourse around it is really panning out. One part of the entire killing that happened in Prayagraj is the legal investigation, and the other part of it is the political contest and a fight happening between the SP and the BJP. I also want to cut across to our guests who are joining us on the broadcast. Vivek Silas of the SP is with us on the show. Ashwini Dubey, who's an advocate at the Supreme Court, is also joining us on the broadcast. Vivek ji, first to you. The UP government says the action is not illegal. We served the notices. This entire construction or structure was illegal, and the bulldozer action sends a deterrent message to the people, to the mafia elements, a much needed action from the side of the state. That's what the UP government is saying. Your thoughts?
Yes. Very good evening to you, ma'am, and the panelists and the viewers. Ma'am, actually, the law and order of state subject, it's the government who is responsible for any such situation. Umesh Pal is no more today. It was a duty of the state government to give him protection. They gave him also protection. They gave him two gunners, but they were not prepared that this would happen. So any situation, a broad daylight murder, it can be said it's the failure of the state government. That is what I can say at the moment. As far as bulldozer is concerned, I can just say that any such heinous crime if people have done, there's no harm in using the bulldozer. We were talking about Atiq Ahmed, but ma'am, I am very sad that the media and the other spokesperson tend to forget that Atiq Ahmed has been the state president of Apna Dal. He was the state president, and he has fought 2 elections from the Apna Dal, the party that is headed by Anupriya Patel, who is the Minister of State in Modi's government. Second, Ashish Patel, her husband, is a cabinet minister in Yogi Adityanath ji's government here in Uttar Pradesh. Why don't we question them? Why don't we? Just because they are attached to the Bharatiya Janata Party in Lucknow as well as in Delhi, why don't we question them? It's very sad. And one more thing. Why do we forget that Atiq Ahmed fought against the Samajwadi Party in 2018 with the support of the Bharatiya Janata Party in the by-election of Phulpur, when Mr. Yogi Adityanath was the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, ma'am?
Okay.
Why don't we come to these facts?
No, so I think 2 points, Vivekji, 2 points.
And he got around.
I think your complaint that there are various angles in which you can look at the history sheeter Atiq Ahmed and his association with different political parties like Apna Dal and the BJP. So here on the national television, you have highlighted how he has been associated with different political parties and not just the Samajwadi Party. Point well made. Does that absolve the Samajwadi Party of the responsibility? The question that BJP is asking you is that it was under your patronage, under your government, that the likes of Atiq Ahmed were allowed to do their illegal activities. Even right now, they enjoy your support and your political patronage.
Atiq Ahmed was in the Samajwadi Party in 2005. In 2004-05, he joined the Apna Dal. Ever since then, it has been almost 18 years. Atiq Ahmed is not in Samajwadi Party. Let me be absolutely clear. He was wanting a ticket in 2012, but Akhilesh Yadav, then the state president, refused him the ticket. Not only him, it was Vijay Mishra, it was DP Yadav. They all were wanting, such criminals were wanting. Even Mukhtar Ansari was wanting a ticket in 2012 from the Samajwadi Party, and we denied it. Vijay Mishra is another name. But ma'am, the problem is, if we see today, people who are associated with the Bharatiya Janata Party, I'll give you an example of Brijesh Singh. He has 106 cases against him, and 57 out of those cases are of brutal murders. He's roaming very freely. They are playing cricket and no one is bothered to question them. They have bounties on their head, ma'am. They have bounties on their head. They are openly playing cricket in front of the police. And the police doesn't have the guts to even question them. I can say Vineet Singh, another example from Mirzapur. He's a MLC in the Bharatiya Janata Party. His driver is a, chairman of the...
You've made your point. You've made your point. I think, sir, it only points out to the unfortunate nature of Indian politics. I want to bring in another guest as well. Anand Dubey of the BJP is joining us on the phone line. Anand जी, बहुत-बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए. इस समय पैनल पर विवेक सिला समाजवादी पार्टी से हैं, अश्विनी दुबे जो एक एडवोकेट है हमारे साथ बने हुए हैं ब्रॉडकास्ट पर. समाजवादी पार्टी से जो विवेक जी हैं वो एक बात कह रहे हैं कि अतीक अहमद को आप लोग बार-बार समाजवादी पार्टी से जोड़कर क्यों देख रहे हैं? बीजेपी ने भी उनको समर्थन दिया है, अपना दल ने भी उनके साथ राजनीतिक संबंध रखे हैं. अलग-अलग राजनीतिक दलों ने अलग-अलग समय पर अतीक अहमद जैसे लोगों का समर्थन किया है, उनको पॉलिटिकल पेट्रोनेज दिया है. तो आज जो अतीक अहमद के साथ दिक्कतें आ रही हैं या जो भी उत्तर प्रदेश में हो रहा है, उसकी जवाबदारी समाजवादी पार्टी की नहीं है, भाजपा की है या अपना दल की है? इसका जवाब दीजिए आनंद जी.
नहीं, देखिए, सबसे बड़ी बात है कि मुख्तार अंसारी, इनसे पूछिए कि मुख्तार अंसारी को विधानसभा किसने भेजा और मुख्तार अंसारी के भाई अफजाल अंसारी को लोकसभा और विधानसभा कौन भेजता रहा? अतीक अहमद को क्या इन्होंने लोकसभा का टिकट नहीं दिया? क्या अतीक अहमद को इन्होंने विधानसभा का टिकट नहीं दिया? उसकी छोड़ दीजिए, पप्पू मिर्जा से लेके नाहिद हसन से लेके तमाम ऐसे नाम है जिन्हें मैं जुड़ा सकता हूं. देखिए, समाजवादी पार्टी का मूल चरित्र जो है वो आपराधिक है और इनके पूरे रग-रग में अपराध और गुंडागर्दी बसी हुई है. एक छोटा उदाहरण देता हूं. जिस दिन मुख्यमंत्री जी ने विधानसभा में कहा कि माफिया को मिट्टी में मिला देंगे, तो अखिलेश यादव जी तुरंत तमतमाए हुए खड़े हुए. कहा, ये कौन सी भाषा का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं आप? माफिया को मिट्टी में मिलाने की बात कर रहे हैं. आप सोचिए कि सदन में भी वो माफियाओं के खिलाफ, माफियाओं के प्रति हमदर्दी जता रहे हैं. ये वो लोग हैं जो तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति के लिए आतंकवादियों तक के मुकदमे वापस लेते रहे. आप बताइए, जिस पे हाईकोर्ट में फटकार लगी समाजवादी पार्टी को कि आप आतंकवादियों के मुकदमे वापस ले रहे हैं. इस तरह का चरित्र समाजवादी पार्टी का है। समाजवादी पार्टी ने हमेशा से गुंडे माफियाओं को उत्तर प्रदेश में पनपाने का, उनको पोषित
आपका
करने
सवाल
का
सही
काम
है।
किया।
मैं ये सवाल समाजवादी पार्टी से लूंगी भी कि अगर मुख्यमंत्री ने माफिया के खिलाफ बयान दिया तो इसमें अखिलेश यादव को गुस्सा आने वाली तो कोई बात ही नहीं है। मगर उससे पहले आपसे जानना चाहूंगी आनंद जी, आप हाईकोर्ट की बात कर रहे हैं। उच्च न्यायालय ने कई बार बीजेपी की सरकार को भी फटकार लगाई है जिस तरह से आप बुलडोजर्स का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, चाहे वो सीए के समय हो या उसके बाद हो या अलग अलग समय पे हाईकोर्ट ने बीजेपी की सरकार को ये चेताया है कि आप इस तरह से एक्स्ट्रा जुडिशियल मेजर्स नहीं ले सकते, कानून का राज है और आपको प्रोसेस फॉलो करना पड़ेगा। क्या ये बुलडोजर की पूरी रणनीति कानून के विधान के हिसाब से है?
देखिए, पूज्य योगी आदित्यनाथ जी ने एक बात बहुत स्पष्ट कर दी है कि किसी भी गरीब के, मजलूम के, किसी के घर पर बुलडोजर नहीं चलेगा और यदि कोई इस तरह की कृत्य करता है तो उस पर कार्रवाई होगी। लेकिन माफियाओं के खिलाफ दमन का यह कार्यक्रम चलता रहेगा, क्योंकि जिस अवैध पैसे के लिए जिस तरह से उन्होंने अपने समय में धनबल, बाहुबल का इस्तेमाल करके लोगों को डराकर, धमकाकर संपत्तियों पर कब्जा किया, ये बताइए, इससे पहले भी उत्तर प्रदेश में सरकारें रही, अपराधियों के खिलाफ एफआईआर होती थी लेकिन न उनमें पैरवी होती थी, न उनमें चार्जशीट दाखिल होती थी। अपराधी जेल में चले जाते थे और जेल से जो है वो अपने अपराध का साम्राज्य चलाते थे। लेकिन पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है कि अपराधियों के खिलाफ कड़ी पैरवी की जा रही है। उदाहरण के तौर पर मुख्तार अंसारी को पहली बार 3 मामलों में सजा हुई है और अतीक अहमद भी इसीलिए छटपटा रहे हैं क्योंकि वो भी सजा के करीब पहुंच चुके हैं। तो पहली बार उत्तर प्रदेश में माफियाओं के खिलाफ कानूनी तरीके से पैरवी की जा रही है, उनको जेल भेजने का काम किया जा रहा है, साथ ही उनके द्वारा अर्जित संपत्ति को जब्त करके उस पर गरीबों के लिए मकान बनाने और उसको सरकारी इस्तेमाल में लाने की प्रक्रिया को शुरू किया जा रहा है। इसमें क्या गलत है?
मैं चाहूंगी आप हमारे साथ बने रहिए। बिफोर आई गो टू अश्विनी दुबे, विवेक जी आपके पास वापस आऊंगी। अगर मुख्यमंत्री माफिया के खिलाफ बयान देते हैं तो इसमें समाजवादी पार्टी को क्या नाराजगी हो सकती है? अखिलेश यादव को जवाब देने की जरूरत क्यों पड़ जाती है? What is the need for Akhilesh Yadav to respond on this issue if you're not related in any manner and form with Atiq Ahmed, with the likes of Atiq Ahmed?
Yes, ma'am, I'll respond in Hindi because my friend from the Bharatiya Janata Party was conversing in Hindi. Anyway, बुलडोजर की उन्होंने बात की तो बुलडोजर तो दीक्षित परिवार पे भी चढ़ा दिया गया था। माँ बेटी को पहले बुलडोजर के नीचे कुचल दिया गया कानपुर में, उसके बाद उनको आग लगा के उनकी पूरी जो मड़ई थी उसको ध्वस्त कर दिया गया। ये है कानून व्यवस्था। खैर छोड़िए, देखिए, आप किसी भी माफिया के ऊपर कोई भी कार्रवाई करिए, किसी को कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बिल्कुल करिए, कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। इस तरह के क्रिमिनल्स को बिल्कुल वो हकदार है कि उनके ऊपर ऐसी कार्रवाई हो जो इस तरह की घृणित कृत्य करते हैं और इस तरह की आतंक फैलाते हैं। लेकिन मैंने पूछा ना, जैसे योगी सरकार में, मैं बता रहा हूं, मैं पूर्वांचल की बात कर रहा हूं क्योंकि इलाहाबाद पूर्वांचल में आता है। मैंने आपको ब्रिजेश सिंह का केस वो उदाहरण दिया। ब्रिजेश सिंह के ऊपर 106 केसेस हैं जिसमें 57 केस सिर्फ मर्डर के। विनीत सिंह, उदयभान सिंह, अजय सिंह सिपाही, सोनू सिंह, मोनू सिंह, बादशाह सिंह, धनंजय सिंह क्रिकेट खेलते हुए नजर आए, जौनपुर के माफिया बताए जाते हैं और इनके सबके ऊपर इनाम है। अगर आपको कार्रवाई करनी है, माफिया राज को हटाना, हटाइए, बिल्कुल हम आपका समर्थन करेंगे, लेकिन सबके ऊपर एक जैसी कार्रवाई करिए। ये लोग भी उसी श्रेणी में आते हैं। आखिर क्या वजह है कि
थोड़ा सा और बताइए, आपका क्या मतलब है कि सबके खिलाफ एक सी कार्यवाही कीजिए? बीजेपी कह रही है कि आप तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करते हैं, आपका जवाब क्या है? आपका कहना है कि किसी समुदाय विशेष के खिलाफ इस तरह की कार्यवाही की जा रही है, ये आपका आर्गुमेंट है, ये आपका तर्क है?
नहीं मैम, तुष्टीकरण से तो इसको नहीं जोड़ा जा सकता, लेकिन मैं इतना जरूर बता दूं कि माननीय योगी जी, हमारे जो मुख्यमंत्री हैं, उनकी भी फोटो वायरल हुई थी गब्बर सिंह के साथ, जो कि एक हत्यारा और एक बैंक का डकैत है।
कैसा? अभी बहुत मैं बस एक ही चीज बोलूंगी और ये मैं पत्रकार के तौर पे बोल रही हूँ कि फोटो तो किसी की भी किसी के साथ वायरल की जा सकती है, ये एविडेंस नहीं होता, ये एविडेंस नहीं होता। अखिलेश यादव की भी फोटो वायरल हुई थी, उनने भी जवाब में यही कहा कि देखिए मेरे साथ आके कोई भी फोटो खिंचवा सकता है, ये तो किसी तरीके का साक्ष्य नहीं होता। अश्विनी दुबे हैज बीन वेटिंग वेरी पेशेंटली विद अस ऑन द ब्रॉडकास्ट। अश्विनी जी, coming to you. When it comes to this term bulldozer justice, quote unquote, I dare say this is not a term known in constitutional law or in the Indian Constitution. While there may be arguments of public morality which are made by the government that this kind of action is warranted, this action has been frowned upon by the High Court at multiple instances.
Yes, Anusha ji, before demolishing any property, irrespective of the fact that the property belongs to any criminal, mafia or whosoever, due process of law has to be followed. And due process of law means involvement of crime doesn't mean that his property will be demolished. If the dispute is pertaining to his property, then a proper court order is required. And or notice has to be served on the concerned person, but demolition of property without notice or for a different crime has no legality in the eyes of law. Now, the second is, even if the person has committed a heinous crime, before demolishing the property means that before bulldozing his house, the municipal committee must serve a notice. And if that has not been followed, then the other person has a remedy to approach to the court of law. Now coming to the another aspect. Whether that house is being demolished under the political vendetta or keeping it with the timing, or there is a proper procedure which has been followed, which we have seen in Fatima Bibi's case, because the proper notice was given, and now the district magistrate is taking looking into that aspect, that whether their proper notice was served, the house was constructed on a government land. Every street which is a public street vests in the municipal committee, and if unauthorized construction is made by encroaching on it, the municipal committee has the power to have the unauthorized encroachment and construction removed, irrespective of the timing. One thing must be seen, as you rightly said, that there is a rule of law, and rule of law says that you have to follow the process, and the process is, first, if you find that the encroachment is illegal, then only you can demolish, because having right to property under Article 300A of the Constitution is a constitutional right. That will be decided tomorrow. But as of now, by glorifying mafias, even otherwise, see, look, glorifying mafia is a different thing. Committing a crime is a different thing. Killing somebody, that has not been proved in the court of law. But first, we authorities must be answerable to the court of law, that whether the houses which are being demolished are made on a public land, there is unauthorized construction or not. Because committing crime doesn't mean that having a right to demolish the property.
No, you're absolutely right. And more importantly, whether it's the mafias or it's an innocent person, the law of the land remains the same for everyone. More importantly, due process forms the core of the rule of democracy, and of course that's the point we continue to highlight. The UP government maintains that this is a stern policy move that they have taken against the mafia raj in the state. Yes, this matter is at the Supreme Court as well, and there's an interesting anecdote that when Justice Gogoi wanted to shift Atiq Ahmed from Devariya jail to Ahmedabad jail, he was opposing that in the Supreme Court. And now when the reverse is happening, that from Ahmedabad he is being shifted back to a jail here in Uttar Pradesh, he's saying he doesn't want that also. So interesting times and interesting things lined up at the Supreme Court as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast and getting us your perspective. Of course, this political debate is far from over. Moving on, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has spoken with Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar in connection with the Galwan Martyrs Memorial Row. The Defence Minister condemned the incident and expressed his displeasure to the Chief Minister. Nitish Kumar has claimed that he got to know about the incident yesterday and he's looking into the case. BJP MLAs staged protests against the state government in Bihar Assembly, raising slogans. These developments come after the martyr's family alleged that the police thrashed the martyr's father for building his memorial in Vaishali's Jandaha, one of the local areas. The local police claimed that this is a case of illegal land encroachment and the memorial was built without the government permission. Reactions on the story. Bihar DGP has set up an SIT under the CID. This is the latest bit of information coming in on the story that Bihar DGP has set up an SIT under the CID to probe the incident of alleged thrashing of Galwan Martyr's father. Disciplinary action will be taken if any police personnel is found guilty. Yesterday, we had also spoken to the kin of the martyr, his brother, and he had argued that the local police was disproportionate in their action, insensitive. They picked up the martyr's father at night, thrashed him at home and at the police station. And now, DGP has set up a special investigation team to probe this entire incident. My colleague Saurabh with us on the broadcast. Saurabh, the details you have.
See, Anusha, today the day started with the protest by BJP leaders inside the assembly, where they banged on the table and also they were holding placards, criticizing the government's role in the whole issue. Now, later in the later half of the day, we learned that Defence Minister Rajnath Singh had a conversation with the Chief Minister of Bihar, Nitish Kumar, and he totally deplored the incident and condemned the act which was witnessed on 25th of February. Now the BJP leaders, they were continuously demanding the statement from Nitish Kumar, although he was speaking on all other issues, but he was not speaking on the issue of the martyr's insult. But when the BJP leaders started walking out of the assembly, Nitish Kumar gave a statement saying that he had a conversation with the defense minister and he has promised action into this incident, and he said that he has already told his officers to look into the matter. Now what we are learning is that a special investigating team has been formed by the DGP of Bihar, in which 3 officers will be investigating this case under an ADG of CID. And now only after when we run this story from yesterday morning, the other national news channels took this news, and only then the chief minister and other ministers started responding to this story. But the story what we played was taken into cognizance by the politicians, and now we have the statement of Nitish Kumar, who is promising action into this incident that took place on 25th of February.
Good that the Bihar administration has taken cognizance, and if there was excess action that happened from the side of the police authorities, all those police personnel must be taken to task. Let's see what that inquiry really yields at the end. Some reactions lined up on the story.
रक्षा मंत्री जी ने आज हमको सुबह फोन किया है और उन्होंने बताया वहां की घटना का प्रस्ताव दिया। एक आदमी मर गए और उनके परिवार को जिस तरह से तंग किया है, हमने उनको बता दिया कि कल ही हम लोगों को मालूम हुआ है। हमने अधिकारियों को कहा है कि भाई इसका चलता क्या है, क्यों किया है कोई उसको तंग और काहे गिरफ्तार किया है, और उस पर सब तरह का यहां से जाकर के उसका जांच हो रहा है।
हम वैशाली जिला से ही चुन करके राघोपुर विधानसभा से आते हैं। हमको तो पता नहीं, नेता प्रतिपक्ष जब वो शहीद हुए थे, जब उनकी बॉडी जो है लाई जा रही थी, तो ये गए थे कि नहीं गए थे, लेकिन हम जरूर गए थे वहां। और दुखी परिवार से जब मिल रहे थे तो उस परिवार की मांग थी कि हमारे बेटे का स्मारक बनाया जाए और द्वार बनाया जाए। उस समय जाहिर से तौर पे हम सरकार में नहीं थे, सरकार में ये लोग थे, लेकिन जब हम वहां पहुंचे तो हमने उनको बोला कि हमारी पार्टी के तरफ से स्मारक भी बनाया जाएगा और गेट भी बनाया जाएगा। परिवार की मांग थी, नहीं यहाँ नहीं किसी और के जमीन पे, तो ये संभव नहीं था महोदय।
हमको जानकारी नहीं है क्या स्थिति है, उसकी जानकारी नहीं है, लेकिन किसी भी सरकारी भूमि के ऊपर अगर कोई भी व्यक्ति विशेष अगर चाहता है, चाहे उनकी नीयत अच्छी हो या खराब हो, बिना सरकार के अनुमति के नहीं कर सकते। लेकिन उनके साथ मारपीट हुई, उनको घसीटा गया। हम समझते हैं कि वैसे लोगों के साथ वहाँ के जो लोकल पदाधिकारी हैं सम्मान से बात करना चाहिए था, उनको समझाने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए थी। और अगर उनके साथ दुर्व्यवहार हुआ या कोई इस तरह से घटना है तो जांच का विषय है।
आपके क्षेत्र का था, आपने गए, सेना के प्रति सम्मान रखना, और निश्चित तौर पर आप युवा हैं, आपके मन के अंदर वो नकारात्मक भाव से हट करके सकारात्मक भाव आना समाज के हित में होगा। लेकिन जो आपके माननीय मंत्री आपके बगल में बैठे हैं, वो बार बार सेना को अपमान कर रहे हैं, तो मंत्री जी से क्षमा मंगवा लीजिए और निर्देशित कीजिए कि ये समाज को तोड़ने वाला और समाज के ताना बाना में घुन लगाने वाले मंत्री अपनी योग्यता का प्रदर्शन अपने विभाग में करें।
All right, we'll try and get you more voices on the story. That's the word coming in. For now, slipping into a very short.
Looking at all the investigation details and the evidence that has been submitted. So, which is why it's impossible for Arvind Kejriwal to continue with the two. Now, what happens with the not just the image, which is of course has been a big hit for them, but the expansion plans of Aam Aadmi Party. Do you see him keeping Manish Sisodia in charge of the portfolios while he's in the jail, along with Satyendra Jain, as well as many others, to be seen as somebody with them asking votes, especially somebody who comes from a anti-corruption background. I
Okay.
mean, that was the genesis of this party, wasn't it? That's
Okay.
why all of us were there. You know,
I think
so
that's a fair. I think
it's
that's a
huge
fair
travesty.
point to ask, that you can't go to Gujarat or to Karnataka or Rajasthan or wherever else Aam Aadmi Party wants to expand next, Ishkaran Bhandari, and ask for votes in the name of an anti-corruption plank when two of your most important ministers are in jail. Now, again, no one is saying that they are guilty. Nothing has been proven in a court of law. These cases have not gone to trial yet. But you cannot, in the court of public perception, you cannot be asking for the votes of people on an anti-corruption plank when two of your closest ministers are in jail.
Zaka, if you are pronounced guilty, then it's a matter of law that you cannot hold office. Judgments have come if you are pronounced guilty for more than 2 years. So this is obviously a morality area. And we have traveled a lot from the days of Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri, who resigned for a railway accident, even though that cannot strictly be ascribed to the minister. And in this case, Mr. Satinder Jain's case, a PIL was moved in the Delhi High Court, where the Delhi High Court dismissed that PIL, saying that it's the cabinet, the chief minister's decision to keep somebody in the cabinet or not cabinet. They didn't want to interfere in it. They didn't want to usurp the powers of the chief minister. But increasingly, it would have become untenable if a minister like Mr. Sisodia in jail with 18 portfolios, and further petitions would have been filed, which would probably caused further embarrassment, whatever be the legal decision. Thus, I think it is not an extraordinary thing for them to have resigned. But what is interesting in this case is, as you started the debate, why one person's resignation was not taken for 9 months, why the other person resigned in 2 months, Delhi being the capital and the political capital. There would be a lot of speculation on that, which is for Aam Aadmi Party to answer. But definitely, as a practice, morality, a person in jail should not be a minister, be it from any party.
No, Manasvi Thapar, one other question that Delhiites are asking tonight is, why is the chief minister not taking any of these portfolios? Between Manish Sisodia and Mr. Satyendra Jain, they control more than 20 portfolios. The chief minister is a chief minister without any portfolios. I mean, people of Delhi did not vote for Kailash Gehlot or for R.K. Anand. They voted for Kejriwal. Why is Mr. Kejriwal not taking any portfolios?
Zaga, it's a very interesting question, but the reality is lots of chief ministers don't take up lots of portfolios. While Modi ji was the chief minister of Gujarat, he did not have the most of the cabinet ministry. While people voted for him, the ministers keep on changing and the ministry keep on shuffling while he was here in Gujarat. So it's upon the chief minister, it's upon the cabinet council. But the reality is, I think it's a great step when there is an allegation, when there is a pre-trial until you are proven guilty. While the trial is on, you resign for your position. It's a great step from Lal Bahadur Shastri. Right now we are seeing Manish Sisodia doing it. It reminds me of the case of Lakhimpur Kiri, where Ashish Mishra did not resign while his son was still there.
No. Manasvi, one second. Let me reframe my question. Of course, it's the prerogative of the chief minister. He can decide who's part of the cabinet. He can decide which portfolio goes to who. And if he so chooses, he doesn't want any portfolios, that's up to him. But the point is this. When I say people of Delhi voted for Kejriwal, they did not vote for Kejriwal to go and campaign in Gujarat or campaign in Punjab or campaign in Maharashtra. They want Kejriwal to run Delhi. The business of running Delhi had been effectively given to Mr. Sisodia and now to Mr. Gehlot. Mr. Gehlot controls, I think, about more than 10 portfolios. He is de facto running the administration of Delhi while Mr. Kejriwal is busy expanding the party. That's the intent of my question.
Zaka, you are bang on that, but the same question could be reframed in a way that why does the Prime Minister go to different states to campaign, and he's the biggest campaigner of this country, and BJP is proud of him to be a campaigner. While he's the Prime Minister of the country, his business is to run the country. He is still the biggest campaigner and the most campaigned person in this country right now since 2014, I think before that, while he was in Gujarat. So that's upon the personality, that's upon the party to decide, that's upon the state to the council members to take a decision on that. And if this is the question on Arvind Kejriwal, this could be a bigger question on the Prime Minister of this country.
Shazia, answer that, because at the end of the day, I mean, if Prime Minister Modi can go to Karnataka and to Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, wherever elections are due, and campaign and become, you know, the biggest mascot and the election campaign chief of the BJP, then why are you accusing Kejriwal of doing the same thing? He's free to go expand his party.
Yeah, he's free to go and expand his party as he does, and he has. But the fact of the matter is, our Prime Minister has several portfolios which he looks after, and of course, this need to compare everything with the Prime Minister. I mean, you can't fault it on any ground, but the fact of the matter is that while even if he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, were there any state ministers who went to jail? Was there any corruption? Was there any scam under the watch of CM Modi ji and as the PM too?
Again, a very straightforward, simple question. Today you knocked on the doors of the Supreme Court. The court said it's not procedural. Go to the High Court. You have exhaustive legal remedies. Exhaust them first and then you come knocking on our doors. Why did it take 10 months for Satyendra Jain to tender his resignation, and why has it taken all of 2 days for Manish Sisodia to tender his resignation? What is going on?
Good evening, everyone. See, the portfolio of Satyendra Jain was being handled by Manish Sisodia ji, and we are still expecting, and we were expecting that Satyendra Jain will be out soon, but it's been more than 6 months, 8 months now. And Manish Sisodia ji handling the finance ministry and the education department along with like total 18 portfolios he has been handling. So the work of Delhi administration and the citizens of Delhi should not get hampered. That is why this decision has been taken and the resignation being accepted.
But ma'am, wasn't it being hampered for the last 10 months? Mr. Jain had very important portfolios, health and power and water.
Yeah. So it was handled by Manish Sisodia ji, and also one other minister was handling it. But because these Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain were handling the most important portfolios. So right now the two being not there physically, so this has been this decision has been taken. And besides saying this doesn't mean their acceptance of their resignation by Arvind Kejriwal doesn't mean that we are finding them guilty or we are sidelining with them.
Welcome back, and in the run-up to the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the stage is set for another show of opposition unity. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M K Stalin is celebrating his 70th birthday in the presence of national leaders, including Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge, SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav and NC Chief Farooq Abdullah. The birthday bash has begun, and these are the live visuals coming in from Chennai. No invite has been sent out to TMC, interestingly. Political experts are saying that inviting non-BJP leaders for his birthday celebration is Stalin's way of showing strength ahead of the general election. Well, with this rally, the DMK Supremo is making it clear that his party will back the Congress in the next general elections, and some kind of show of unity which is being put out. Live visuals on your screen coming in from Chennai where the bash is underway. Reactions and this conversation that we had with Udaynidhi Stalin. Listen in.
Grand celebrations planned for Chief Minister's birthday, sir. Opposition parties are invited. What is the message to this, sir?
Wait and see. Come for the meeting, no?
Grand alliance for 2024?
Wait and see, no? You come for the meeting, you'll know. All the leaders are coming.
Stalin and the DMK have done very well to see that the unity of the nation, because our India is unity in diversity. If we protect diversity, we will protect unity. And that is why I think from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, they are trying to unite India. And I hope other leaders will also think in the same terms.
What are the chances for CM Stalin to become the PM?
Why not? Why can't he become the PM? So why not? What is wrong with that?
My colleague Purnima is with us on the broadcast. Purnima, the birthday bash, but clearly with a huge political statement. We told our viewers about the invitees. Tell us about the ones who have not been invited, and more importantly, what is the political messaging that Stalin is putting out? It's important for in the run-up to the 2024.
Well, in the run-up to the 2024 elections, DMK is now sending out a strong message that, in fact, its alliance with the Congress is very much intact, and it calls for an opposition unity, which is why, interestingly, the DMK, which is also very close to leaders like Mamata Banerjee and KCR, the DMK has not invited them because for them, the key alliance is with the Congress, and because the Congress, they think Congress should lead the opposition for 2024, DMK in inviting like-minded parties, which is why invitations to Mamata Banerjee, KCR were not sent. And the DMK here is sending across a message that it calls for the opposition unity, and that alliance should be headed by the Congress, which is why Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge will be here. The event is all set to start by 6 p.m. is what people here say. All the leaders will come here. 4 key leaders to participate in the event here in Chennai, including Akhilesh Yadav and Tejasvi Yadav. All of them will be here in some time, and the event is likely to begin by 6 p.m. Calling for unity headed by the Congress is the DMK's message through this.
My colleague Purnima getting us all the details on that important story. Well, let's take this to our guest as well. PKD Nambiar, who's a political analyst, is joining us on the show. We also have Mr. Sumant C. Raman, who's a political analyst. Salim Dharanidharan, the DMK spokesperson, is also joining us on the broadcast. Salim, first to you. The fact that TMC has not been invited, of course, this is a birthday celebration, and congratulations to the DMK Supremo and the Chief Minister of the state. But more importantly, the fact that certain key opposition leaders have not been invited, what does this really signal for the opposition unity?
No, I think it does not signal anything. See, if you look earlier, Mamata Banerjee had visited Tamil Nadu twice in the last 1 year, and also Arvind Kejriwal was invited to launch one of our schemes, that is Pudumai Pen Thittam. So I think we've been calling different opposition leaders at different times, and I think there's nothing to do politics with this. And right now it's a 70th birthday. He's been in politics for more than 54 years. He started his political career when he was 14, when he campaigned for Murasali Maran. So I think Tamil Nadu under Dravidian model has ensured that no one is left behind. This growth had made sure that there is development for all people, all sectors, and all regions of Tamil Nadu. This model is a model which has embraced plurality, federalism, and secularism. BJP's model is focused on enriching the super rich. That is why the difference between haves and have-nots have increased in this country ever since BJP has come to power. BJP again is against pluralism. That's why they are embracing the oneness. That is one nation, one ration, one religion, one language, one food, one
Salim,
culture.
with what you're saying, with the manner in which you're talking, also is very clearly indicative that the invitees and the ones who have not been invited, there's a serious thought that has gone behind it, because this entire political discourse coming in from you is in the run-up to the 2024. Great that this is a message of some kind of opposition unity ahead of the Lok Sabha elections, which is very important if you want to defeat the mammoth machinery of the BJP. But are you sure that all the stakeholders are on your side, or perhaps there is a larger cohesion which many argue has been missing between the principal opposition parties across the country?
No, of course not. As I told earlier, we have excellent relationship with Trinamool Congress. We have excellent relationship with AAP. We have excellent relationship with Chandrasekhar. They all have visited Tamil Nadu. See, we already have four national leaders. We don't want to have more than that. Again, there's an event by Chennai South District. It's not by the main parent.
So you're
party
saying you have great political relations across all parties, and there shouldn't be much that should be read into it.
See, DMK is the third largest party, and we have an alternate model, that is growth for all. So this model has shown India that there is a different development model which is required for the country to progress and to become a developed
Mr. Sumant C. Raman, how do you read the developments of the bash which is happening in Chennai right now? What kind of statement Mr. Stalin is making? And what do the invitees and the ones who have not been invited, what does that list really tell you? Mr. Raman.
Yeah, first of all, let's wish the Honorable Chief Minister a very, very happy 70th birthday.
Of course.
As a politician, he's one of the hardest working politicians you'll see in the country. So we have to give him our best wishes. Now, the second part, as far as what does this actually mean, and it's a little confusing, because it doesn't mean that when an invitation is extended to the TMC, that Mamata Banerjee herself needs to come. I mean, Derek O'Brien has come in the past, and somebody representing the party, would be present. So the purpose of inviting, and except for Akhilesh Yadav, the other invitees are those who are perceived to be sort of close to the DMK, like the Congress, of course. The DMK and the Congress have been staunch allies for several years, and you also have Dr. Farooq Abdullah, who's also sort of for all practical purposes, indicated that he is in the Congress camp for 2024. And so to Tejasvi Yadav, now that Mr. Lalu Yadav is also back in the country, it's extremely likely, and he has been a staunch ally of the Congress. So except for Akhilesh here, the rest are those who align themselves very closely with the Congress. Other than that, I am really not able to understand why the other opposition parties were not invited, most notably, TMC, AAP and BRS, which is surprising for me, because I would have expected invitations to have gone out, and perhaps, a member of parliament representing one of these parties. Yeah, that is more the normal practice. Perhaps there are fissures which we do not know as yet, because Mr. KCR has his own ideas of going independent of the Congress, because the Congress and KCR are pitted against each other to some extent in Telangana. So I think that this is a kind of a random picking. I don't see any great, this event as a rally of all anti-BJP forces. It is probably a selective selection of those who are closer to the Congress party, and with the possible exception of Akhilesh. Maybe they know something that we don't, and Akhilesh is also possibly veering around to going back to an alliance with the Congress.
Mr. PKD Nambiar, do you agree that this is some kind of random selection? Or what Mr. Sumansi Raman was saying a few seconds ago, that perhaps there are fissures that we don't know about?
Absolutely. In fact, anybody whomsoever is closely watched the opposition rallying from the last couple of, or opposition realignment from the last few years, this is much more than a birthday celebration. That is for clear. If it is just a birthday celebration, he could have invited anybody and everybody, whether it is those who are in his group or in the opposition group. So it's much more than, he is using this as an opportunity to get all of them under one roof, whomsoever is aligned to the Congress. And remember one thing, that Stalin is the only leader so far has openly approved of the leadership of Rahul Gandhi as the prime ministerial candidate. No other opposition leaders have agreed to be. Another way of looking at it is that this is more of like all these parties except this Akhilesh Yadav, they are basically the UPA regime people. Whether it is most of the parties, including the left, were once upon a time the UPA one, they were supporting from outside. That is the way the UPA government has come in power. So, but then the most interesting part is that the real opposition alignment against Narendra Modi is not really happening, because BRS is not there. He's just the neighbor of Tamil Nadu. He is not there.
I'll come
so
to you,
as the TMC and Aam Aadmi Party. So when these people are not there, and only a caucus of Congress or Rahul Gandhi Bhakt people are coming together, and also this should also be treated as Stalin wanted to show the dominance of DMK in this group, as the DMK spokesperson was talking about that we are the number third largest party in the country. So I believe this is much more than a birthday bash. But
it is indeed much more than a birthday bash. Before I go to Mr. Sumansi Raman. Yes, Mr. Raman, make your point, then I'll take in a word from the DMK spokesperson as well.
It's a very, very significant issue, because the DMK and the two communist parties are allies in Tamil Nadu. But we do not see a senior national representative of the left parties also part of this event, which again is makes you wonder, because Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan and Mr. Stalin share very warm relations. So why is nobody from the left, at least not at the national level, part of this program? So it's very, very strange. And I think only reason I can understand is it's more like as if the Congress sent out the invitations and not the DMK.
Mr. Dharanidharan, was it the Congress party sending out the invitation? Is this some kind of caucus of the Congress party and not the DMK?
As I said earlier, there's nothing to read too much into it. There are no fissures. If you look, we have invited AAP in the past, TMC in the past, Chandrasekhar has come, Vijayan has been invited for different events, HUD has been invited. And this event is organized by Chennai South District DMK. And we have four leaders from national leaders, four different national leaders from different parties. That's about it. I think there's nothing much to be read into it.
No,
because
sir, but
when
with due respect, even if there's a small gathering at my home, I would think 10 times
Correct.
about who to invite and who not to invite. And if I choose not to invite somebody, what is the message I'm trying to do? This is a veteran senior politician who has spent his entire life, 5 decades in politics, who knows very well what is at stake for 2024. Are you really telling us that these invitations were sent out without the thought of all of this?
No, it's not that. I think, see, for different functions, different parties would be invited. When there will be a big event, let's say maybe run up to the election, then we'll have all the parties coming in. That'll happen in the future. I spoke in your same channel 6 months back that we are invited Arvind Kejriwal. Are you moving away from Congress? So I think there's nothing much to be read into it. We've been inviting different leaders, and it's all in the process to have a larger alliance for 2024. But don't look at it as an isolated incident. Look everything together. Even 2 weeks back, we had people from the original Shiv Sena. So you have to look all in a holistic manner and not in an isolated way. Look at the last 1 year, which parties have come. In fact, we have remained in touch with
my last question to you. I have to wrap up after this, sir. What is the larger message that the DMK is trying to send across ahead of 2024? What kind of role will Mr. Stalin or your party play in the opposition unity, quote unquote, that is, most experts would argue is required to defeat the BJP if that were a possibility?
See, we are showing to the people of India there's a different model that which provides inclusive growth, equity and development for all. That is based on social justice and Dravidian model. This is the model we want to give it to the rest of India. And based on this, we are seeking to unite the opposition. And people are also embracing this model because if you look under the BJP, the unemployment has increased, the inflation has increased. No one is talking about this, but we are talking about this, and we are certain that this will make us win 2024.
Okay, so you're saying not much thought should be given or not much should be read into who has not been invited, and this is certainly
Anusha,
not a political gathering. I'm very sorry, I'm short of time. Mr. Nambiar, 30 seconds to you, then I have to wrap up.
No, I'm only saying that I think the left parties and Congress are arch rivals in Kerala. So as in the many other places, all these so-called opposition parties, they will be fighting with each other. Where is the question of opposition unity in all of it?
No,
is there a common
I think that is a given that when it comes to this term opposition unity, there are too many caveats into it, and a lot of functionaries or political parties within the opposition camp don't see eye to eye. So it's a utopian idea, an idealistic idea that the opposition would like to talk about, but in reality it has not really translated the way opposition would like it to. We'll continue talking about the story and much more here on CNN News 18 on the other side of a quick break. Stay tuned.
Way that why does the Prime Minister go to different states to campaign, and he's the biggest campaigner of this country, and BJP is proud of him to be a campaigner. While he's the Prime Minister of the country, his business is to run the country. He is still the biggest campaigner and the most campaigned person in this country right now since 2014, I think before that, while he was in Gujarat. So that's upon the personality, that's upon the party to decide, that's upon the state to the council members to take a decision on that. And if this is the question on Arvind Kejriwal, this could be a bigger question on the Prime Minister of this country.
Shall we answer that? Because at the end of the day, I mean, if Prime Minister Modi can go to Karnataka and to Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, wherever elections are due, and campaign and become the biggest mascot and the election campaign chief of the BJP, then why are you accusing Kejriwal of doing the same thing? He's free to go expand his party.
Yeah, he's free to go and expand his party as he does, and he has. But the fact of the matter is, our Prime Minister has several portfolios which he looks after, and of course, this need to compare everything with the Prime Minister. I mean, you can't fault it on any ground, but the fact of the matter is that while even if he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, were there any state ministers who went to jail? Was there any corruption? Was there any scam under the watch of CM Modi ji and as PM too?
Again, a very straightforward, simple question. Today you knocked on the doors of the Supreme Court. The court said it's not procedural. Go to the High Court. You have exhaustive legal remedies. Exhaust them first and then you come knocking on our doors. Why did it take 10 months for Satyendra Jain to tender his resignation, and why has it taken all of 2 days for Manish Sisodia to tender his resignation. What is going on?
Good evening, everyone. See, the portfolio of Satyendra Jain was being handled by Manish Sisodia ji, and we are still expecting, and we were expecting that Satyendra Jain will be out soon, but it's been more than 6 months, 8 months now. And Manish Sisodia ji handling the finance ministry and the education department along with like total 18 portfolios he has been handling. So the work of Delhi administration and the citizens of Delhi should not get hampered. That is why this decision has been taken and the resignation being accepted.
But ma'am, wasn't it being hampered for the last 10 months? Mr. Jain had very important portfolios, health and power and water.
Yeah. So it was handled by Manish Sisodia ji, and also one other minister was handling it. But because these Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain were handling the most important portfolios. So right now the two being not there physically, so this has been this decision has been taken. And besides saying this doesn't mean their acceptance of their resignation by Arvind Kejriwal doesn't mean that we are finding them guilty or we are sidelining with them, parting ways. No, we are standing with them. They will come out without any trace of any kind of
So let me ask Shazia Ilmi this. So the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson saying this is not admission of guilt. Ultimately, the business of administration of Delhi should not suffer. Between them, they had more than 20 portfolios or maybe even 25 portfolios. So somebody had to continue the work, and that's why the reallocation has happened. Shazia.
Well, the truth of the matter is that Arvind Kejriwal realized that it would be untenable to have his deputy CM and somebody to whom he's allocated 18 portfolios, including finance, to have people watch him go to jail, as he knows that there is already a minister, Satyendra Jain, who's been there for a while. I won't even say languishing because he seems to be, he doesn't seem to be suffering there as the visuals show. But the fact of the matter is that it was absolutely impossible to have, before the budget, your finance minister go there. And I think there'll be an effort made for Arvind to show himself, distance himself from the two of them. And if this was the reason, if portfolio management was the reason, why wasn't Satyendra Jain asked to resign earlier?
No, but why are you saying that he's going to distance himself from them? Shalini Singh was saying that it's not a question of distancing. They're completely backing both their ministers. And she's saying it's not an admission of guilt. Why do you say this is Kejriwal distancing himself from his two associates?
The reason why I say this is because he knows that Manish Sisodia is not going to come out in a jiffy. It'll take him a while. We heard what Supreme Court said, and we know that the High Court will be looking at all the investigation details and the evidence that has been submitted. So, which is why it was impossible for Arvind Kejriwal to continue with the two. Now, what happens with the not just the image, which is of course has been a big hit for them, but the expansion plans of Aam Aadmi Party. Do you see him keeping Manish Sisodia in charge of the portfolios while he's in the jail, along with Satyendra Jain, as well as many others, to be seen as somebody with them asking votes, especially somebody who comes from a anti-corruption background. I mean, that was the genesis of this party, wasn't it? That's why all of us were there.
I think that's a fair point to ask, that you can't go to Gujarat or to Karnataka or Rajasthan or wherever else Aam Aadmi Party wants to expand next, Ishkaran Bhandari, and ask for votes in the name of an anti-corruption plank when two of your most important ministers are in jail. Now, again, no one is saying that they are guilty. Nothing has been proven in a court of law. These cases have not gone to trial yet. But you cannot, in the court of public perception, you cannot be asking for the votes of people on an anti-corruption plank when two of your closest ministers are in jail.
Zaka, if you are pronounced guilty, then it's a matter of law that you cannot hold office. Judgments have come if you are pronounced guilty for more than 2 years. So this is obviously a morality area. And we have traveled a lot from the days of Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri, who resigned for a railway accident, even though that cannot strictly be ascribed to the minister. And in this case, Mr. Satinder Jain's case, a PIL was moved in the Delhi High Court, where the Delhi High Court dismissed that PIL, saying that it's the cabinet, the chief minister's decision to keep somebody in the cabinet or not cabinet. They didn't want to interfere in it. They didn't want to observe the powers of the chief minister. But increasingly, it would have become untenable if a minister like Mr. Sisodia in jail with 18 portfolios, and further petitions would have been filed, which have probably caused further embarrassment, whatever be the legal decision. Thus, I think it is not an extraordinary thing for them to have resigned. But what is interesting in this case is, as you started the debate, why one person's resignation was not taken for 9 months, why the other person resigned in 2 months, Delhi being the capital and the political capital. There would be a lot of speculation on that, which is
Welcome back. Ahead of the G20 foreign ministers meet on the 2nd of March, CNN News 18 Siddhant Mishra went to the Taj Hotel, which is all set to welcome the delegates from across the world. He spoke to the staff there, who has been deputed to receive the foreign ministers at the hotel. Have a look at this report that tells you about the preparations underway.
We are bringing this a special broadcast from Taj Palace Hotel in Delhi, which is going to host more than 20 countries. We are right now at the arrival area of the Taj Palace Hotel, and you can see the drums are being played in the background. The drums are being played, and in every 5 minutes, one delegation or a diplomat is arriving at Taj Hotels, and they are getting this grand reception, grand welcome at the hotel lobby. We'll go inside, and in fact, we'll speak to the general manager that what all arrangements they have made for the diplomats. General Manager Saab is right here with us. Thank you so much. First, sir, this is G20 we are going to host. How challenging it is?
It is challenging, but we are extremely excited to be part of this multilateral summit that is happening in India for the first time. And, you know, it's great to be part of it when India is having the presidency.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The bulldozers are back on the streets of Uttar Pradesh. Today, Don Atiq Ahmed, who's currently lodged in jail, faced the brunt of the bulldozer Baba. House of his aide, Zafar Ahmed, was razed down by the authorities in Prayagraj. This crackdown comes days after a heated debate took place in UP Assembly, where Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath promised to raze the mafia into the ground. A political face-off has also erupted after the bulldozer was seen in action. Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav questioned law and order in the state. But Yogi Adityanath again hit back, saying previous governments gave UP one district, one mafia, while their government has given, for example, one district, one product, which is a very popular scheme of the Yogi government. Time and again, we've seen bulldozers in action in the state. Yogi Adityanath government has always taken a stern stand against criminals.